Welcome to this explainer, where we're diving into the Great Sphinx mystery, hidden chambers and secrets. For thousands of years, the Great Sphinx has just stood there, right? A silent, imposing guardian of the Giza Plateau. It's a monument that kind of exists in two completely different worlds. On one hand, it's anchored in hard, measurable archaeological facts, but on the other, it is absolutely swirling with unproven, enduring secrets. We're looking at a massive triumph of ancient engineering, but it's also, honestly, a canvas for some of humanity's deepest historical mysteries. So we're going to peel back those visible layers of limestone today and explore a story of myth, dramatic rediscovery, and those tantalizing clues hinting that the full story of this ancient marvel might still be waiting in the dark.
Now, I want you to just picture yourself standing there. Strip away all the modern tourism, the buses, the cameras, and confront the sheer, unparalleled magnitude of the world's oldest colossal statue. Imagine the harsh Egyptian sun casting these deep, defining shadows across a face that has literally watched the rise and fall of entire empires. It is a singular, awe-inspiring achievement. Just feeling the sheer weight of history in this one structure, it really demands reverence. And it forces us to ask, how and why was this titanic monument willed into existence in the first place?
Well, let's start with a number. 4,500. That is how many years this majestic structure has commanded the desert landscape. Just think about that for a second. Think about the sheer volume of human endeavor, the endless cycles of civilization that have come and gone while this stone watcher has just remained totally fixed in place. Carved way back during the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt, it firmly establishes its immense significance. This isn't just an old statue. It's literally a bridge connecting the dawn of recorded civilization directly to us today.
And physically, it is an absolute engineering titan. But here's what's truly staggering. They didn't build this by stacking blocks. No, this massive structure was carved directly out of a single colossal ridge of limestone bedrock that was naturally sitting right there at the Giza Plateau. We're talking enormous dimensions, over 240 feet long and 66 feet high. It was deliberately designed to absolutely dominate the landscape. Plus, its strategic location serves a dual purpose, right? It acts as both a physical and a spiritual guardian to the Great Pyramids just behind it, projecting this profound cultural significance that resonated across the entire ancient world.
So, who actually built it? Well, historians widely point the finger at Pharaoh Khafre. Now sure, we don't have a definitive construction receipt lying around, but the historical and archaeological consensus points squarely at this 4th dynasty ruler. Khafre was the mastermind behind the second largest pyramid at Giza, and the Sphinx is perfectly integrated right into the architectural complex of his monumental tomb. Building this thing, it was the ultimate power move. By aligning this massive guardian with his own resting place, Khafre permanently intertwined the monument's origins with his own reign.
Now look closely at these design choices because the ancient Egyptians were absolute masters of symbolism. The Sphinx is basically a visual masterclass in political propaganda. By seamlessly pairing the muscular predatory body of a lion with the head of a human pharaoh, complete with that traditional royal headdress, they engineered an incredibly powerful message. It tells anyone looking at it, hey, here lies a ruler with the unstoppable raw physical strength of a lion, but guided by human intelligence and absolute divine authority. It's the ultimate embodiment of kingship.
Yet, despite all that imposing authority, the shifting desert mercilessly reclaimed it. Actually, for the vast majority of its 4,500-year lifespan, the Sphinx wasn't even fully visible. The relentless Egyptian winds swept these massive dunes over its lion body, bearing the whole statue right up to its neck. This environmental takeover set the stage for centuries of dramatic rediscoveries. For the longest time, it was just that massive, enigmatic head poking out above the sands, watching over the desert like a mysterious, disembodied face just waiting to be found again. And that triggers this relentless, rapid-fire journey through time, where the Sphinx is endlessly swallowed by history and then miraculously resurrected. From its initial construction around 2500 BC, it was choked by sand until a drastic rescue mission in 1400 BC. But, the desert always returns, so it was lost once more, all the way into the 1800s when modern archaeological surveys began the really arduous process of digging it out again. And the craziest part? The journey hasn't stopped. Today, in our modern era, we aren't just digging through sand anymore. We're using advanced subterranean technology to scan what lies completely hidden beneath the bedrock.
But let's rewind to the most famous of those historical rescues, because it reads exactly like an ancient political thriller. We're talking about the Dream Still. It's this enormous stone slab resting right between the Sphinx's massive paws, and it tells the story of a young Thutmose IV. According to the text, he fell asleep in the monument's shadow, and the Sphinx actually spoke to him in a dream, offering him the throne of Egypt if he cleared away the suffocating sand. So he cleared the sand, and boom, he became Pharaoh. But it makes you wonder, right? Did the Sphinx really speak, or was the dream still just a brilliant piece of political fiction to legitimize a young ruler's unexpected claim to power?
Okay, moving on from ancient political maneuvers, we have got to talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the missing nose on the face. It is an enduring visual anomaly that has sparked endless debate. So what really happened to the Sphinx's missing nose? Was it just natural erosion over thousands of years, an unfortunate accident, or an act of deliberate, targeted destruction? It's a historical mystery that has spawned some of the most persistent myths in modern pop culture.
So let's clear this up right now. Forget the popular legend about Napoleon's soldiers shooting the nose off with a cannonball during target practice in the late 1700s. We can definitively bust that myth today. European sketches of the Sphinx from well before Napoleon was even born clearly show the statue was already missing its nose. Historical records actually point to a 14th century Sufi Muslim named Muhammad Sayyam al-Dar. Apparently, he was enraged that local peasants were making offerings to the Sphinx in hopes of a good harvest, so he deliberately chiseled the nose off to stop them from worshipping it. It was an act of vandalism that permanently altered the face of history.
But you know, the mysteries on the surface kind of pale in comparison to what might lie below the surface. Once the sands were finally cleared and anomalies like the missing nose were accounted for, human curiosity naturally pivoted downward. I mean, think about it. If this massive monument was designed to guard the towering Pyramids of Giza, is it possible it was also built to guard something else? Something buried deep beneath those giant stone paws, hidden away inside the bedrock itself?
And that downward pivot brings us to what many consider the ultimate archaeological holy grail, the Hall of Records. This concept has absolutely captivated mystery lovers and historians all over the world. The legend doesn't just describe a simple tomb or a burial shaft, it describes a sprawling subterranean library. Think of it as this mythical vault containing the lost wisdom, advanced technology, and the true, unredacted history of the ancient world, all perfectly preserved and deliberately hidden away from the ravages of time. The stakes here are massive. A discovery like this would fundamentally rewrite our entire understanding of human civilization.
Now, the obsession with this hidden library really reached a fever pitch thanks to a bizarre intersection of ancient history and modern mysticism. Enter Edgar Cayce, a famous early 20th century mystic who claimed to see into the past during deep trances. He made a remarkably specific prophecy, declaring that the records of the ancient world are hidden beneath the right paw of the Sphinx. Now, obviously, archaeology demands hard physical science, not psychic visions. But Cayce's incredibly specific claim, it managed to ignite a global obsession, driving a massive wave of intense, well-funded interest in exploring the ground directly beneath the monument.
So, driven by the sheer weight of these enduring legends, scientific teams in the late 20th century finally brought modern tech out to the plateau. Using seismic equipment and ground-penetrating radar, they meticulously mapped the limestone bedrock. And to be clear, they weren't looking for magic. They were strictly searching for structural cavities. But the data sent shockwaves through the community. The radar returned clear signals of distinct, unexplained underground anomalies. We're talking about detecting empty spaces, artificial-looking voids, and perfectly right angles deep beneath the Sphinx in its surrounding enclosure that natural geology simply cannot account for.
Which leaves us sitting at this fascinating crossroads. On one side, we have the undeniable 4,500-year-old physical facts of Pharaoh Khafre's guardian. On the other, we have undeniable scientific data proving that something hollow exists beneath that bedrock. So what exactly are those anomalies? Are they just unexplored ancient drainage shafts? Or is it possible that the legendary Hall of Records actually holds a grain of truth, just waiting there in the dark? The Great Sphinx has flawlessly kept its secrets for millennia, but as our technology peers ever deeper through the stone, the ultimate question remains. Are we on the verge of unearthing a truth that rewrites history entirely, or will the Sphinx keep its greatest secret forever?
Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're standing on the metaphorical edge of the Giza Plateau to look at one of the absolute most iconic structures ever carved by human hands. You know the one. We all know its massive, highly visible presence. It's a literal marvel of ancient Egyptian engineering that's watched over the desert for millennia. But here's the thing. Despite standing proudly in plain sight, it's actually what we cannot see that continues to captivate the millions of visitors who travel to Egypt every single year. So, we're going to jump right into the enduring and honestly often mind-bending mysteries of what might be buried beneath this ancient sentinel.
So what really lies beneath the Sphinx? Let's dive right into this massive question. For generations, explorers and historians have stood before this monument and just wondered what tantalizing secrets might be hiding under the Egyptian sand. And, it's actually kind of wild to think about. For a structure that's been stared at for 4,500 years, we still don't definitively know what it's sitting on. The suspenseful possibility that there's something more, something deliberately concealed right beneath those massive limestone paws, has driven absolutely endless historical pursuits.
Section 1. Scanning Beneath the Sands, the Modern Investigation. Now, what's really fascinating here is how today's non-invasive technologies allow us to search for hidden structures without lifting a single stone. Seriously, we are way past the era of simply digging holes in the sand with pickaxes and just hoping for the best. Ground-penetrating radar, for instance, shoots electromagnetic pulses into the Earth to map exactly what bounces back. Then you have seismic surveys, which measure the vibrations of sound waves as they travel through the bedrock, showing us precisely where the rock is solid and where it's completely empty. Add in advanced scanning technologies that can map the entire plateau in spectacular 3D, and archaeologists can literally look into the ground. It's a real game changer. They get to preserve the integrity of this super fragile ancient site while still hunting for answers.
So here is the absolutely crucial point. These high-tech scans actually found something. They didn't just return solid rock. No, they detected what archaeologists call subterranean anomalies. Basically, distinct underground cavities, empty spaces, and what appear to be tunnel-like structures right beneath or near the monument. And let me tell you, in the world of archaeology, anomaly is a thrilling word. It's that moment when modern science validates that, yes, there are indeed voids hidden beneath the ancient sand, just waiting to be understood.
Section 2. The Hall of Records. Speculation versus fact.
This really brilliantly illustrates the divide we face when looking at the Sphinx, because this discovery splits opinion right down the middle. In one camp, speculative theories just explode with cinematic ideas like the Hall of Records. This is a legendary, hidden library said to contain lost Egyptian knowledge or maybe even proof of connections to the mythical city of Atlantis. It's an incredibly emotional and captivating theory, right? It totally captures the public imagination. But in the other camp, mainstream Egyptologists maintain a very grounded skepticism. They point out that these findings are completely unconfirmed as man-made structures, and there's a severe lack of actual historical evidence in ancient texts to support the Atlantis or hidden library theories.
We have to ask ourselves what scientists actually found. The reality is that while radar anomalies absolutely do exist, the definitive existence of mythical chambers remains completely unconfirmed. To date, no physical evidence of an ancient archive, no hidden scrolls, and no secret libraries have been unearthed. Actually, many geologists suggest that the voids detected by the radar are probably just natural geological features. The Giza Plateau is absolutely full of natural limestone fissures, empty sinkholes, and caves formed over millions of years. So for now, science leans heavily toward Mother Nature rather than a secret society of ancient librarians.
Section 3. The Battle Against Time. Preserving the Monument.
The hard truth is, this massive monument is incredibly fragile. It's constantly under attack from a relentless combination of severe, environmental, and human-made threats. While the world hunts for mythical libraries below, a very high-stakes battle is happening right on the surface. Natural erosion and severe weathering from harsh desert winds are constantly sandblasting the limestone. Plus, the region is prone to minor earthquakes that threaten to fracture the bedrock. And perhaps most devastatingly, modern pollution from the rapidly expanding city of Cairo introduces corrosive smog and rising groundwater levels that literally eat away at the stone.
To fight this, archaeologists and engineers are locked in a massive, ongoing conservation effort that spanned the last century. They're constantly assessing structural damage, using those exact same advanced scans we talked about earlier just to monitor microscopic cracks. They're actively combating wind erosion by carefully replacing crumbling stones with matching limestone blocks. And they're engineering modern solutions to reinforce the site against that rising groundwater and potential seismic activity. Simply preserving the Sphinx from collapse is an immense, daily challenge that requires just as much dedication as uncovering its history.
Section 4. History's Unanswered Questions. What the Sphinx still teaches us. Stepping back for a second, the sheer scale and vision required to carve this guardian out of living bedrock speaks volumes about the ancient Egyptians' engineering brilliance and their deep spiritual convictions. Whether those hidden chambers truly exist or not, the monument itself is the true treasure.
It continues to inspire deep curiosity in all of us, proving that history isn't just a closed textbook, you know? It still holds many secrets just waiting to be discovered, and it continues to command our absolute awe thousands of years later. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Will the Sphinx ever truly reveal its final secrets? Perhaps tomorrow, a new scan will change history, or perhaps the Sphinx will keep its mysteries buried in the sand forever. Thank you so much for joining this explainer. I really hope you found this deep dive into the data, the myths, and the preservation of the Sphinx absolutely fascinating. Be sure to subscribe for more historical explainers and keep questioning the history beneath our feet.